Well, GMAC was actually the first project we actually did any kind of real marketing. I mean, we used to do flyers and shit before we had a tape come out, but I don't know if that really probably ever did or not. But we actually did some marketing stuff. We
did them matches.
Yeah, we did. We felt like to reach the demographic of people. Most people back then were smoking cigs, so we pressed up about 5,000 matchbooks with advertising for his album on it.
Yeah,
we drove all over Northern California, like every city, and went to every freaking little liquor store in every freaking neighborhood in every town, and said, "Hey, here's some matches. Just take them and give them away with your cigarettes." Okay,
nice.
And so like people were just getting this advertisement when they buy a pack of cigarettes and get their matches with it. So we did that. Did a bunch of stickers. We did like sticker promotion. We ran. I know we ran an ad, or there's an article or something in Relic magazine about him. We did that. So it was like our first, like we're gonna see what we can do with actual marketing type of thing. So that was kind of new for us. That was a next step up. And honestly, we even did a meet and greet for him at the old Tower Records on Florin Road. Yeah, they ordered like 150 copies and they sold most of them that day. It was a really good event. So
damn.
And then one show. He did one show.
He did one show out at the Boardwalk, opening for Mr. Doctor. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, Mr. Doctor. Was he promoting Block Style at that point, or was he just kind of doing his thing? I can't. That might have been closer to '96 by that point, because Block Style came out a little bit later after GMAC. Because I remember, because Sed used to give us promotional stuff that we'd go on trips. Take it out there and hand stuff out. So I used to have boxes of promotional
was just like
stuff.
a black market night at the Boardwalk.
It was, yeah. So GMAC was on there. Yeah, I remember we went out there. Quantum Bomb was with us. We rolled out there in your blue caddy, and Quantum Bomb was with us. And we had that big old motherfucker that you see my neighbor at my apartments with us, and he was a security guard, and he was in town from Texas. I'm like, yeah, just roll with us out here, whatever. And he was fucking around, and he put a handcuff on me. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll take that off. Fuck, I don't have the key. I'm like, you stupid motherfucker, how am I going to go into a goddamn venue with a fucking handcuff? They're not going to let me in, bro. So we drove the fuck around. We went to, I remember going to like Sunrise Mall out there, and he convinced some security guard to like take that shit off of me. And I was just like, I remember I was stupid high that night. Yeah. I smoked so much weed that night. I remember in the back room, like everybody pooled their weed together in the backstage area, and there's like a mountain of weed, just like 3 guys rolling blunts the whole night. It was something to see.
We weren't performing, but
I wasn't performing.
We were back there with everybody.
So I remember that night. So I ended up back at your house, and I had to drive that motherfucker back to his place off of Fruit Ridge. And a bunch of people gave me demo tapes and promo tapes and shit that night. I remember I was driving home. I dropped him off. So I'm like, dude, I'm really faded. I don't condone inebriated driving, but I was young and dumb. So I was driving home, stupid fucking hammered, high and drunk, in my big green 78 caddy. And I'm like, I gotta put one of these tapes in so I can focus. I put this tape in, and it was this rapper from Detroit named Nodis, which is Satan spelled backwards. It was satanic rap. That shit fucked me up so bad. I'll never forget that. And I'm trying to get home, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck am I listening to? I had to like, that shit fucked me the fuck up, man. I'll never forget that. Fuck, it was a promo demo tape he had before he got real big. So
damn. Yeah, I heard of him.
Yep.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, I guess he had some people in the house that night that were handing shit out or whatever. But
remember one time you gave a Crew Called 2 cassette to Ice-T.
I did.
At the Boardwalk.
I did. We went out in '97 to see Body Count, and I went out there. I'm like, fuck it. I saw it in the paper. I said, man, we're going out. We're gonna go see Ice-T tonight. So we went out there. And I talked to the dude, the side that I already knew him from the GMAC show. I'm like, hey, man, I want to get back there and talk to Ice-T, so he let me buy him. And I walk up to Ice-T, and the first thing is, I'm a tall person. You picture your heroes as being larger than life and shit, right? Yeah. He's not a tall person. He's not as tall as I am. He's not a little dude by any means, but he's not. So I'm like, oh, and that was kind of weird. So I'm like, you put your heroes on a pedestal. So I'm like, I walk up to him, I'm like, tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, I'm going to talk to him. He doesn't say nothing. I'm like, all right. I could tap on his shoulder again, and one of two things that happen. One, he's going to fucking sock me in the jaw, do some fucked up gangster shit to me. Or two, he's going to talk to me. Either way, that's a great story to tell. So I tapped him on the shoulder again, hoping for the best. And he was cool as fuck. He gave me some advice, like passed him the tape. Super nice guy. Really, that was a really meaningful interaction. Like, he basically says, no matter what you do, just don't ever stop. Just keep going until you get it. That's what he told me. So, And I still carry that with me today. So we got kind of on a side track over there.
Well,
That was a cool little story, though.
Whatever. I mean, we put out GMAC, and then we were starting to work on.
We started working on Trey 8's album.
We started working on Trey 8's
Enemy
album.
of the World, not Enemy of the World. Something about the world, like burning. Had a picture of the burning world on the front cover. It was pretty bad.
Okay.
And we were working on our album too at the same time.
It
took a really long time.
Yeah, we were slowly starting to stack tracks up. We were working still with other artists. We had a guy who came out during the process, probably right before the GMAC album started getting worked on. This guy named Slick the Pale Pimp. He came out from Atlanta, and he was looking for people to work with, and so we linked up with him.
He saw us at their second Cattle Club show.
Is that where we met him?
That's where we met him.
No shit. Okay, so he saw us at the Cattle Club, I guess, in '93, and so we started working with him. He's a super cool guy, funny as shit.
Yeah,
he's a funny ass dude, man. So we started recording tracks for him and stuff and whatnot, and he had some guys. He had a deal with someone, a subsidiary of Ichiban Records, which was MC Breed's label, and he came to us one day. He's like, "Hey, I got my manager. I told him about you guys. They're looking for a couple of white boys, and they want to change your name to Bass Junkies, and you're gonna be doing like Miami Booty Bass." And I'm like, I don't know about that. They're gonna $40,000 upfront money, and I'm like, I don't know about that. Cause I'm like, as good as at that age a bunch of money sounded, I was like, nah,
it's not what we were doing.
It wasn't what I was trying to do. It didn't feel right, And also back then, it was very important to be real and true to yourself. That was like a main theme of hip hop and culture and music back then. And I felt like I would have been the biggest freaking sellout. And we already had Vanilla Ice. There are white guys selling out. We already had that base covered. So I'm like, so we turned it down and shit. But then, fast forward to the early 2000s, I'm digging for vinyl, and I find a copy of that 12-inch, and I buy it. I take it home, and it was fucking awful. It was awful. We dodged such a fucking bullet there.
Oh damn!
Okay. It was fucking terrible record, man. Damn. But yes, he had that on there. But we kept working with him though. He got a little studio set out in Del Paso Heights, and we would record over there. And he was doing a lot of production too. He had the ADAT set up out there for doing multi-track on, and we were still doing analog recordings, so we try to record over with him sometimes. And we did a song with him. Are we getting ahead of it? I started about Sidon. That was after we had
that was later.
That's later. Okay, he did produce about 3 of the tracks on the Two Dope You Can't Stop Us record.
Yeah, You Can't Stop Us. Yeah.
Okay. So that's also when we added Kelly to the group. She could sing. I worked with her at my day job at Target, and I hear her singing at work, and I'm like, well, shit. You want to come sing on some shit with us? I mean, you can sing. Let's do this. So she started working with us and performing a little bit with us. We do shows and stuff like that. So that's where the third member came in for a while there.
Yeah.
Stephen G. Lawrence, was that before?
That was before Two Dope album, after GMAC. That was in between.
Was it before 96? Our album?
It was. It might have been. Okay, it was before. It was right after. He came out right after Katie was born.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
so
I remember.
When it says his first daughter.
The release party.
Yeah. So we had the release party at your place. Wow, there's so much in there. That time it got busy working with a lot of people. Yeah, we recorded. Steve was a guy we went to high school with, a good friend of mine. And he did R&B, kind of a Michael Jackson poppy kind of R&B. So he came through, we recorded him, we helped him get set up, press up CDs and tapes and singles for him, just basically the same kind of setup we had with GMAC.
I think I took the 8-track over to the Sakai.
You recorded him over there?
I recorded his beats, and then he
came because he was making them on the computers over there, wasn't he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't privy to those sessions.
And then we recorded the vocals at our studio in Elk Grove.
Was it in Elk Grove, or was that already in Rosemont?
No, Elk Grove.
Elk Grove? Okay.
Elk Grove, yeah.
So yes, we recorded that and put that out for him. That was not through Black Market. That was 100% independent.
Yeah, so that was just all consignment deals.
Deals and whatnot. And,
yeah.
And he was pushing it. And he was a motivated kid. He was out there singing and doing his thing, man. So
he had like a backer, so he had a little bit of money that he could spend, and so he was able to.
He used it wisely and put it together.
Yeah.
So, but then, we put our label on it just, so we could provide our services as much as we could.
Were doing the work,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then that was also during the time too that through the connection at City College we met. Well, you met first. I met him through you as Gump G.
Oh yeah.
Can't forget that. That's an important part of our story, man.
Oh yeah.
So you met him at the college?
Yeah, I met him at Sac City College. He just came up to me after a class. He's like, "What's that 2 on your hat for?" Because we had hats and it said 2.
Embroidered 2s on them.
Yeah, for 2 Dope. And I told him, he's like, "Oh, what's up? Yeah, man." He just started talking to me. He was so easy to talk to and so personable and make you smile, laugh, whatever.
He's the funniest dude.
Charisma, you know, and just makes you feel, I don't know.
Like you belong. Like I never felt like I wasn't at home when I'd go to his house. Like he makes you feel like you're just part of the family, you know, and like super cool guy. Like you tell me, "Oh, this guy Gump." I'm like, all I could picture in my head was Forrest Gump. I'm like, the fuck, Gump? What the fuck? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. All right, this is definitely not Forrest Gump here.
So I mean, at first he was just trying to get some free studio time, and like we weren't having that.
No,
but then
we're about our business.
I kind of got to meet him, and then start like go to his place and hear his music and what he was doing.
And he had some really good ideas for the time. He was a little ahead of things, a little ahead of his time. He was pushing the envelope of Bay Area hip hop. He was from Vallejo. He was pushing kind of the envelope of the Bay Area sound at that point. And man, yeah, he was incredible, man.
Better watch your hoe as she got me. If I put down the gas, the poser still wanna pop me, can't stop me. A terrorist more hated. Did Gaddafi one love for my countries who got the tape when they drop me west side up. Quick to think up on the Nazi, be so deep in the cut. The ghetto bird can't spot me, it's proppy, cause I got your hoe on top. Me, it's K music mixer, don't loop it, a copy hard drive, sample a floppy, cause your skills is sloppy. Gave him 2 on the double thing rap game, monopoly this fella. Trying to see more cheese than mozzarella. You get the guard, got the 4, last they hit the damn teller. It's a payday, next they hit the way. It's G-Bay, so stay out of my way. And
incredible. And then fortunately, before we ever got the 2 Dope album done, he got murdered over off of Brookfield over by G Parkway. What is it now? It's
Shining Star.
Shining Star, yeah.
Stars.
But it used to be G Parkway, and that was back in the day. That was a tough ass neighborhood, and there was never a conviction in his murder. There was a suspect who was in jail on some other charges, but I don't think he ever copped up to it. But that was the last person that supposedly saw him alive, and but whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there, thank God. But unfortunately, we lost Gump.
Yeah.
That hit hard. That hit really fucking hard.
I never got to see him do a show.
It was all studio work. He was going to do all that.
Studio work, and he was willing to spend some money. Like, not much was ever recorded at our studios.
He went to a lot of other studios to do his recordings and stuff.
Yeah, there was some beats that I worked on with him.
We had some stuff. That it was on our reels that we had of him.
Yeah,
we put together. We put it out. Yeah,
and then it was like I was just always there, like whatever, driving him to the studio and like this was gonna I don't know. I thought this was gonna be our. This is what's gonna
because he was probably the most talented rapper we'd ever met at that point. He was one of the most talented MCs, and his charisma gets
us to the next level. We were talking about forming a corporation together with him.
We were actually going to do that. We were going to take all of our.
We put the logo on
Steve Lawrence's album and our album and on
the logo
on
for this
single.
Company that we were
Interwest Incorporated. We were going to call it. But that guy. I really wish I could have seen him perform. His charisma, I'll bet his stage presence would have been phenomenal, to say the least. Man, it was. Yeah, his getting murdered was devastating.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the studios where we recorded some stuff basically let us mix down some tracks.
Yeah. And just, hey, let's do this for him, because we wanted to at least provide his family with his recordings and stuff. Yeah,
and eventually we put out
this cassette single.
With the blessing and help of his parents.
And his brother, too.
His brother, they were all involved and actually putting it out there.
Okay. And then years later, we actually released all the recordings digitally with the blessing of his family as well.
Yeah. Word.
So.
Yeah, and all she asked is that she didn't even want the money. She said, use it to market the release. So kind of just keeps...
Put it back into it so it stays out there.
So you just run marketing ads or whatever just to try to grow it and keep it growing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight.
But yeah, that was... Because I remember the last time I saw Gump alive was at Steve G. Lawrence's release party. When we both left at the same time. We were driving out into Folsom Boulevard. I see him turn left, go down Folsom. That was the last time I saw him. He died a few days after that, so...
Damn, yeah. That was right then.
A lot of shit happened in a very short time. You became a father for the first time.
That's right. My daughter was born.
Our music was just like, things were looking really up, and then that like let all the air out of our sails for a minute, man.
Yeah, because I moved, so we moved the studio.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And then
that was such a pain in the ass.
I think I was only there for 6 months, and then the studio was gone. So that was 97.
And I took all the studio equipment, and I moved into my first apartment with my first wife when we were just dating, out in Carmichael, and I set it up in this like janky apartment. We recorded most of You Can't Stop Us in a very janky apartment in Carmichael, like a really janky apartment.
Okay.
we had to time it so like the neighbors weren't making a bunch of fucking noise.
The You Can't Stop Us album took several years.
There was stuff we recorded from before,
yeah. It really spanned a lot of period over multiple studios.
But finalizing and finishing it, we did over there.
Some of it was in Elk Grove. We did
some there.
In Rosemont at the house there, and then some in the apartment.
Yeah, we did that with a lot of places. You're right. You're right. Because some of those we just had to mix it down in the end. Because we took that to Selective Frequencies for him to mix down.
Yeah, and then we mixed it down to Selective Frequencies.
Because we had a financial backer for that one too. We had a guy I was working with at my phone company job at the time that wanted to put some money into pressing up the tapes and stuff. And so we were like, all right, cool. We have this budget here. Let's do this. So he fronted the money. Then he wrote me a check. So I put the money in the bank. I remember we were going to go into the studio and mix down, and I go and like my bank was over, like a check bounced or something. I'm like, what? And apparently that check he wrote me wasn't any good. So I drove right the fuck back up to the phone company where we worked at, because we were going to the studio. I needed that money for us to mix that fucking record down.
Yeah.
I walked up in there. I put his phone. I put the after call button so when he's done with his call, he wouldn't get another call in. And he's like, what? I said, you need to go log out right now and go to the bank and get me cash. I need this plus an extra $50 for my overdraft fees. Oh, I'll get. Well, like I said, look, and he was doing some stuff in his personal life that may not have been so good. He may or may not have been staying with his best friend and servicing his best friend's wife's vagina. There was some of that going on. I was aware of this. And I was feeling very desperate, like, no, fuck you, we're getting this done. I said, look, unless you want me to make a phone call tonight to your roommate, you really, really might want to go to the bank right now. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. And I just sat there at his desk. I started eating his lunch and shit. I felt like a goddamn fucking gangster. It's like I'm eating the snacks off his desk. He comes back, makes him count it out right there on the desk. I said, all right, thanks. I mean, our friendship wasn't the same after that, but the business is business, man. I mean, shit.
He made most of his money. He got his money back.
He got his money back. We made sure he got his money back. But
well, he threw a show.
He threw a show, up in Placerville.
We did a release show in Placerville.
We did a release show for up. Yeah, we rented out.
Stephen G. Lawrence opened for us.
We rented out the Oddfellows Hall up there. I remember that.
And then he sold the tickets up there. He had a little brother or something in high school, sold tickets at high school.
And a bunch of kids showed up and spent a bunch of money. And
they had snacks and sodas out in the hallway. Like, he had it set up pretty good.
It was actually a decent show. It was a really good show that night.
Word.
Yeah.
There was even a freaking fist fight out front. And all that kind of shit you expect a bunch of young people to show.
There was a fight out front. Yeah. And a lot of people ran down to see.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on out there? Shit. But yeah, the Two Dope tape. We did a bunch of shows. We played out. Remember, we used to play out. We did a lot of record store appearances. We play out in Berkeley and shit.
Yeah, we played in Berkeley at West Store Rasputin's.
Rasputin's, yeah, we played at Rasputin's up there. We were just basically just trying to push this tape. I'd go down there with Mario. I'd spend a lot of time driving on off days from work. I'd go down to the Bay Area and just promo the hell out of that. Still promoing the GMAC record, even though it'd been out for a couple of years. People still had it, so I'm still pushing that pretty hard.
Then we do an autograph signing at the mall.
We did an autograph sign at the old downtown mall.
No, I think at Arden.
Arden Mall?
I thought so.
I thought that was downtown. I don't know. There's so much. Yeah, but I do remember that. Steve Lawrence had the show at the downtown mall. That was it.
No, his was at Dimple.
I'm gonna.
And then my house, we had a party.
Yeah, no, but Steve Lawrence had a thing at the downtown mall. He performed in that, and Sam Goody down there.
Oh, okay, that might be.
Yeah, maybe you weren't there that day.
Didn't know. Didn't we even go do one in Stockton or somewhere too?
Yeah, we did one. He did one. That dude, Steve was motivated, man. He was motivated. He was taking everything he got. He was working hard.
He was performing at the mall.
But being with all these other artists though too was really motivating for us as an artist too, because I think just having all that energy around us really pushed us to keep wanting to make music. And so after the album, we hooked up with this other guy from Sacramento, Sub-Zero, who put out the Sacramento's Most Dangerous compilations. He wanted a song from us for it, so we went and saw Slick. He actually Capone Cap One was actually Slick the Pale Pimp later on in his career, from Skrilla Mob, and he produced a song for us called High Side.
Yeah, High Side.
Which did we just finally find a copy of it on cassette?
Yeah, we have a copy on cassette, and that's it.
And that's it. We're gonna try. I want to release that so bad. I have a stack of DAT tapes. I went through every single one of those, hoping it was on there, man. But
at one time, it existed on a DAT and a CD. But
according to Sub, I seen Sub-Zero at autograph sign a few months back. He says he still has it. And he says it's still going to get released. So I'm thinking, damn, it's been like hella years, but I'm okay if you do. Let's do this. That might have been the best chewed up song I've ever recorded. There was a dude named Mad Lung singing on it. It was should we tell the whole story about how that went down that night? Yeah, might as well. What the fuck, dude? So we're recording over there, and he had his studio set up in his garage. It was a nice little setup, little vocal booth out there. It was a little 1-car garage, kind of a little bit smaller than where we're sitting out here now. Uh-huh. And we're recording. This guy, Mad Lung, he wanted to have him sing the stuff. So Mad Lung, for whatever reasons, gets all upset at Slick. And he's like, I'm not singing, whatever. And he goes storming into his house. And Slick's like, hey, I'll be right back, fellas. You guys just stay here. He had that like deep, raspy voice. We're like, okay, man, whatever, you know.
A lot of cigarettes.
He like smoked cigarette and then go in the booth, like so his voice would be raspy. He says, hey, you drink coffee and cigarettes. That was his like formula for recording. But so you hear him go in the house, he's yelling. Then you hear like shit like breaking in the house, the dog's barking, Slick's wife is screaming, the kids are crying, and I'm just like, fuck do we get out of here? There's one way out, and it's that door, this little tiny window I couldn't fit through. I'm like, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on out there. We gotta stay. So we just sitting here waiting to see what the fuck happens, and then all of a sudden here comes Mad Lung in there with this big old red bump on the top of his head. He goes in the booth and just starts singing, and then he leaves. And it's like, and he's all, I told you he'd sing that for you. I'm like, fuck, man. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Mad Lung. You know, I never had no beef with that guy. He was always cool with me, man. I got no beef with any of them cats.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
I don't know what that was about, but I don't. Sometimes not knowing is better, you know. But that was definitely an interesting situation to find ourselves in, and that was probably what 1999. That was right before 2000. Because I wasn't married yet, and I got married the first time in '99.
Yeah, sounds about right.
So yeah, it was probably like mid '99. It was like the summer because it was hot outside. So, but yeah, and that was the last thing we recorded as a group collectively.
Yeah, we were like at this point, you're working. You got a job.
I had a 9 to 5 that was like 50, 60 hours a week. I was busy.
And then I was working in San Francisco.
You were working for
Monarch Records in San Francisco. Yeah, so I you know, while we were doing all this stuff, I went to college and got a degree in arts and entertainment management. So I've been studying the music industry, and so that's how we kind of were able to, part of our growth anyways is
a lot of it
using, you know, stuff that I was learning in school. But then I got a job, so then we're both kind of busy.
Yeah, busy. I got a job, I got married, I bought a house, I was doing all like the fucking things they say you're supposed to do and shit, you know, and then when I got disillusioned with that a little bit in like 2000, 2001, I was actually going to hang the mic up. I was like, yeah, you know, that was a fun little run we had with music. That's cool. And then Steve Lawrence calls me one morning. It was like in January of 01. He's like, Billy, I got this new studio. I'm recording on a computer now. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. Right on. Do your thing. He's like, I need to figure out how to use all this shit. Can I record you? Can you come over? I'm like, fuck it, whatever. And I had some shit. I was like, all our gear, I was still trying to record occasionally, but like our reel-to-reel machine was broken, so I was like, all the gear was like really
it's starting to get
old and beat up. I had it set up in my garage in Carmichael, bunch moving shit. So I did buy it's just sitting right here. I bought this little motherfucker right here, this little Boss SP202 sampler. I just happen to have it there. I still use it sometimes. And so I was making beats on it. I'm like, all right, I got to have something to record. So I go over there. I go through my lyric books. Like, that's a really cool hook. That verse and that verse. Okay. And I'm like, that beat works. So I just went over there with all that. And I recorded with Steve at his house. And that's when I recorded Walk in My Shoes. And I came home with it. And he had it on a fucking CD for me and shit. I'm like, this is cool. What the fuck do I do with this now? So I put it up online through an old Underground Music Archives, UDMI, whatever. There's a website. It was for people to go download music. I just put it up on there and wait to see what happens. And like in the first couple of months, it got like 5,000-6,000 downloads. I was getting all kinds of response like, man, maybe I'm not done with this shit just yet. Maybe I still have a little bit of fire left in me. But coming at it from that point then on was good because I also had a lot of knowledge. I was learning from you because you're working in the business.
Yeah, like I was.
So
like,
I was able to
real marketing plans.
Right, and I was able to like obviously not match those marketing plans. I was broke as shit compared to that, but I was able to kind of
Just learn how
tailor
it all
them to work with what I had to work with to do what I could. You know, so. That's kind of the caveat I wanted to come off of with talking about your job. But yeah, that provided me with a lot of knowledge that I needed going forward. Because we both started college at the same time, similar goal. And I think I made it 2 semesters. I dropped out because I needed to go make some damn money. So you were the smart one and you finished that shit up. So I'm still, going to go back one day, 30 years later. Yeah, right.
So let's see. You do a show, or you get asked to do a show.
Oh yeah, so with my solo shit, so this is where I started doing more solo stuff. So I wanted to get out and get on stage and do my thing. So this is like 2002, and I'm reaching out to people around town doing shows. Everyone's like, nah, whatever. One dude told me, he's like, man, you're done, you're old, you're washed up, whatever. I was like 28. I'm like, okay, but whatever. And I'm like, so I reach out and there's a name that I'd always seen on the scene. All the times we'd be pushing GMAC records and our records, everyone else's record. I always see at the record stores. I always checked in the local artists to see who was doing what. Crazy Ballhead. And so I'm like, shit, let me reach out to this dude. I don't know him. So I reached, he's like, hey, come to my show at Cafe Mexicas on 420 and bring me your demo. I want to listen to it. So I go down there and I bring him a CD to listen to. He goes out in the car and listens to it. I'm sitting in the bar just waiting. Comes in, he's like, yeah, I got you April 22nd, out here in Roseville. We're going to put you on the bill, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I proceeded to see him rock for the first time. He had that live band. I was like, I'd never seen a live band with rappers before, and it was like mind-blowing experience that day. That changed my entire world. But yeah, he was the only Hooper, now Mr. Hooper, was the only one that gave me a chance to get on stage at that point in my career. And then, of course, when I'm going to this show, I'm like, fuck am I going to do? I'm like, you gotta come out there and rock with me, man. Shit, I can't just go out on stage by myself. I've never been on stage by myself without you for years, man. Come on, man. So
I had to be. I mean,
you were my hype man for a while there.
Like,
Nice.
He's gonna do a show. I'm gonna be by his side.
And I appreciate that, man, for real. And then when I started pressing up vinyl, you took on the role of DJ. We put you behind the decks, and
once you got your first vinyl, right? EP, 5 songs probably.
You had "Walk in My Shoes" and a bunch of other songs, and I put all the instrumentals on the B-side.
Instrumentals on B-side, and you put a little scratch kit for me on the B-side.
Double Ace scratch kit. Yep.
Yeah, you did a little scratch kit. Yep.
So you got stuff to cut up, and that's what we did for our show for the longest time. Then we added the live band element to it with Trunk of Funk for a while, and went on our first tour in 2004. That was April of 2004. We did shows in California, Nevada, and Oregon on that one. That was an experience. That was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we never went back and did much as Too Dope ever again after that, though.
No.
But it's not off the table. I'd consider doing. I'd consider recording something new.
Well, we got
something. We've talked about. We got something in the computer, man. We got a little something we recorded about a year ago that we just have to finish. We've talked about it. That might happen. It might happen. It wouldn't hurt.
It's definitely possible.
It'd definitely be fun.
Word.
So,
But we did. There's 2 EPs out from Mr. Peach Hill and Trunk of Funk.
Yeah, and you were on most of my solo records. You made an appearance on, at least the earlier ones.
Yeah,
you made a lot of
several
appearances
on your solo albums.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, now you're not through. Then you did your solo thing for a minute there too.
I did a few tracks. Yeah,
you did some singles. You did that one single.
When I lived in San Francisco, you sent me a couple beats. So
yeah,
I was, I didn't wasn't completely out of it. I was still writing and working on stuff out there too. And so I did record a few things. And then one of them, Storybook Life, I did at a really nice studio in Half Moon Bay.
And then we did, when you did Texan Drive, I remember we recorded that, but we brought all the stem, at my place, we took all the stems down to Fantasy Records in Berkeley. That was probably the nicest studio I've ever worked in.
That's the most that I ever paid for studio time in my life.
But that's such a legendary room. I mean, everybody's recorded there. Creedence recorded their albums there. People that was a very cool experience getting to go in there.
So I did Texan Drive as the first single I released is just DJ Double Ace, and then I released the Storybook Life that I had recorded probably in the
hella years before
2002 maybe somewhere back then, maybe a little bit later, but in that era. And then I wrote a sequel to that.
You did, that's right.
And then sort of Storybook Life 2, and then one more single, Have You Ever?
That's the one, yeah.
So there's 4 singles out there for DJ Double Ace.
Shit, there needs to be a 5th one, man. I keep telling you, bro. I keep telling you, man.